Hey everyone, welcome back. I am Justin and that is Kyle, and we are the Fantasy Football Upside. So today we're talking about the ever important and popular wide receiver sleepers. This is the episode for your brother Dan.
Yeah.
He's going to watch this on repeat.
Oh, he's going to critique us. If there's an episode that he's going to comment and rip us on, it's this.
It's this one, for sure.
Yeah.
So just for your information, we consider a sleeper as an overlooked player by the fantasy football community that will most likely go later in the drafts, but these players will most certainly outplay their ADP and give you a high return on that draft investment. So in the last episode, we dove deep into who we think are the running back sleepers this year. So do me a favor, go ahead and take a little look to see. Up there first. We'll go up there first.
Up there.
And then you can go ahead and click the links in the description below.
Somewhere
Take a gander at those.
Yeah.
Take a gander at those four. Once again, Kyle and I, we created this channel because we want to help you. We want to help you win your league this year. And that starts with the draft. You know, the rest of the summer, we're spending on getting you prepared for the draft. We want you confident in the draft. We want to help you so you can win your draft to win your league. If you want to learn how to draft to win and what moves to make during the season, stop right now. Hit that subscribe button. Click the bell.
Don't hit stop on the video, though. Don't do that. No, you don't have to do that. You just scroll down a little bit.
Just
hit
a smidge.
that subscribe.
Or
you could watch the whole thing. We'll make sure there's a little thing at the end of the video. You can hit subscribe there
button,
too.
Little button. Little something.
Join us.
Do that. I mean, so if you're on YouTube, do all those things and give us a thumbs up or a comment. If you have a question, we'll definitely answer it. We're going to be here to help you out every week this year. And we're pumping out the content right now. We're doing pretty much 5 episodes every week. So we're here to help you guys out. You can also, if you're not finding us on YouTube, you're going to find us on podcasts. Variety of platforms we're on now, Kyle. We got Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, iHeartRadio, and our newest one is Google Podcast.
So I forgot about that one, I think, last episode.
Well, you forgot about that one at the very end. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. I didn't wite that one in
so
for
ashamed.
You Ron Burgundy
where's
that
our
one.
Shame?
I forgot to write that in.
Yeah, where's our shame drop? Where's our shame?
Shame. So if you're not getting us on YouTube, you're getting us at a variety of different podcast platforms. We're trying to get the content out to you so you can see it or hear it. So Kyle, what else you got for us?
We were just talking about it. We got a lot of content that we're putting out every day. We're doing 5 episodes a week right now. There may be some smaller videos that we're going to start putting out. We're talking about adding a new series called the Outlook series or something like that. We'll see what it ends up being. We're planning to keep up the pace here, guys. This is probably what we're setting through draft season. We're going to have at least this pace for a while. And then once the season rolls around, we're going to probably keep the same pace, but the videos might get a little bit longer just because we're dealing with the week over week
right.
stuff, what you need to know to get from one week to the next. We are still working on our victory draft kit. That's great, grand, and wonderful, right? It's going to drop here in just the next week or so, just in time for fantasy football season, drafting season. Yeah, just in time. It's just in time. Actually,
the jokes you're gonna get at the upside.
Well, yeah, just like the terrible joke that I always see for more on that, and I'm always like, more on that, like what?
This guy just called me a moron. What?
This is a TV. How they know me? No, and that's why you're a moron. But yeah, okay. So back to it. Victory draft kit. You're gonna want to get this, guys. It's gonna help you during the entirety of the draft season because we're going to update it as we go along. And every edition, once you bought it, you're going to get every new edition as it's published and as it's ready to go. We will just send it right to you. It'll land right on your inbox, not your doorstep, right? But in your inbox, and you will be able to utilize that during your draft. You will have all of this deep dive upside information that's going to help you to win your draft so that you can win your league. All right. So let's get moving here. Keep your eyes peeled for that. We'll let you know when it's dropping, everybody, okay? Like you mentioned before, sleepers. Look, sleepers are just mostly overlooked guys who are going to perform, that have performed in the past, and people have decided that they're not going to, so everybody's pushing them to the back of the draft. These are guys who are going to outperform their ADP. And you can see it coming, but for whatever reason, people just ignore them. These are not necessarily the guys that aren't being drafted that we're telling you should draft these guys. But, some of these guys, they aren't getting drafted. I know in the running back episode, Boston Scott's not getting drafted a lot of places. And that's crazy. That's like absolutely crazy.
It's cray.
It is. All right. But today we're not talking about those running backs, but you should check out that episode.
Yes.
Instead, we're talking about those wide receiver sleepers. And Justin, what's the first one you got for me that Dan's going to criticize?
Well, before I do that, actually, I wanted to give a shout out of one of our recent Twitter followers. Great handle name. He's @_footballjesus.
There you go. Yeah.
He had a pretty bold take on Julio Jones busting
bold
this
prediction.
year. Bold predictions.
Yeah.
Julio Jones is going to bust this year. And he had a pretty good excuse if it doesn't work out, and said it's a whiskey excuse. So before we hop into our wide receiver, sleepers.
Take that drink so that in case you get it wrong, you say I was drunk or I was drinking. It was the whiskey talking. That's what happened.
The whiskey talking. So that excuse is already built in.
Well, were you also drinking when you were preparing your notes for the episode?
Plead
the fifth. As your attorney, I advise you to plead the fifth.
So anyways, to get into our very first one, I have Anthony Miller of the Chicago Bears. Fantasy
Boo.
Go ahead and hit that Go Pack Go.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Do you have that? Do you have it? I don't hear it, buddy.
You don't hear it? Oh, I don't have the sound shared. Oh, so you all get to see me dance like a moron. I'm editing that out. No, I won't. I don't edit things like that out because I you know what? Yeah. You know what? I'm an idiot. It's okay. I'll admit it. Every once in a while, I'm an idiot. But here you go. I got it.
Every once in a while. Anyways, there it is.
Go, Pack, go!
There you go. Yeah.
Boom. So Anthony Miller, Chicago Bears, fantasy football calculator, ADP, wide receiver 56, 6th pick in the 12th round. Man, that is late.
That's bad.
That's bad. Is that good? No,
that's not bad.
Good. That's bad. That's late.
Are you sure that this is a guy you want to draft?
I think so, and I'll tell you why. Yeah. So this former second rounder is headed into his third year, and hopefully he doesn't have Mr. Trubisky throwing him the ball. But we've talked on here before, Kyle. We like our second year and third year, especially third year wide receivers. This is another guy that lands right into there as a former second rounder. You're probably going to make fun of the sample size here, but so small sample size of weeks 11 through 14. So headed into your playoffs for fantasy football is wide receiver 22 in standard scoring. The only thing is 54% of his total targets came in those 4 games. He played most of the year.
Yeah.
Like he was good in those 4 games.
Was Allen Robinson hurt?
No. They
did somebody ask him if he was okay?
To a guy that is good. They decided to finally throw, or Mitchell decided to actually hit him with the ball. So we'll see. But whenever Mitchell or hopefully Foles,
I think that Mitch Trubisky decides to throw the ball at people often. It's just whether or not it goes towards them is the question.
Or the right jersey that he's throwing to.
Yeah. I mean, I just think to myself, like, these people have to be, like, these Bears fans have to be like, man, I long for the Jay Cutler days.
I know.
Like the bury the ball 10 yards in front of the
whenever
receiver.
It was the Jay Cutler days, though.
Yeah.
Man, they would love to have him back.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they would love to have him throwing to Anthony Miller right now.
Yeah. They prefer Sid Luckman doing that, though. 1954 or whatever. Last time they had a QB.
McMahon wasn't good enough?
Yeah, he was a game manager.
He was. Brad Johnson. He's a Kirk D. Cousins.
Yeah, I mean, that dude, you'd be a game manager too if they were paying you that amount and you got to hand the ball to Walter Payton. Friggin' sweetness. Yeah, dude.
What is that, velvet?
Yeah, velvet.
Yeah. That's actually the best time to ever use that drop that we've had.
Yeah, I think that's the most appropriate that drop's ever been. Like that drop's a drop looking for something. I don't know.
And
it found it. It's just Walter Payton.
What is that, velvet?
Yeah.
Anyways, back on Anthony Miller.
Yeah.
So whenever he is actually thrown the ball, he catches it. He has one of the lower drop percentage. He's in the lower third or top third, however you want to look at it. So he's at 3.5%. The league average is dang near 5%. So
wow.
Yeah. if you round up, it's actually at 5%. One thing that's really going for him and Allen Robinson is the strength of schedule for wide
Yeah.
receivers. Number one, according to Fantasy Pros.
Yeah.
That's nothing to shy away from.
It's
number one.
also it's number one based on Football Guys, I think is what it is as well,
Yeah.
where they're saying that based on last year's fantasy points
Mhm.
allowed to the wide receiver, this year's schedule, those same teams are the worst in the league. Like that's the best wide receiver schedule in the league for fantasy football purposes specifically. So like, yeah, it's pretty obvious, guys. They need a QB to capitalize, right?
Right.
They've
And
got
then,
a couple good wide receivers, in my opinion.
well, and that's kind of where it stops, though, Kyle.
It is.
It's Allen Robinson, it's Anthony Miller,
And
Taylor
30 tight
Gabriel. They
ends.
let go of Taylor Gabriel. He had 5.6 targets per game last year,
Well,
and
and
they
don't have
walk.
they don't have Tariq Cohen anymore, right? As well.
No, he's there.
Or no, he's still there, but he's going to
Yeah,
steal a little bit of that work. But
Yeah. But I mean, so after those two, it's Tegan Jr. They brought in him from the Saints.
how old's
That's
he?
really, I don't know. As a speed guy, he's getting up there. Cordero Patterson, but he's more of a special teamer. Ridley, they drafted him a couple years ago. It's Calvin
Yeah.
Ridley's brother, but he's definitely not as talented as his brother. Sorry, I'm sure you've been told that for most of your life. And then a bunch of
I doubt he's spending his time watching us, hunting
No.
down, just flaming us.
That'd be awesome. Go ahead and throw a comment down below.
Yeah, if you're Ridley, go ahead and throw a comment down below. Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe and click that bell. You mentioned the 30 different tight ends that they have, but I don't think any of those are guys that you should really worry about any kind of target share going away.
It could be more. I haven't checked today. I don't know.
Jimmy Graham's there, Cole Kmet's there, and then a bunch of other ones.
Market setter Jimmy Graham is there.
Adam Shaheen. I think he's a second round pick as well at some point.
Like the one guy they don't have anymore, I think, right, is Trey Burton.
Yeah.
Like they keep all these other guys, but then Trey Burton.
Yeah.
That's the guy they let go.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. And for all those reasons, I think Anthony Miller is going to have a nice target share, and he's going to have a nice year this year because it's the Allen Robinson and Anthony Miller show when it comes to catching the ball and Tariq Cohen out of the backfield.
Yeah.
So that's why he is my first sleeper for wide receivers.
All right.
You have anything else to add on Anthony Miller?
Not really. I think that the Bears wide receivers are guys to kind of target this year.
With the
and you know what? You can target them a lot better than Trubisky did. So have at it.
There's another one. Dive that right into those Bears fans.
Well, you know what? No. The thing is that none of them disagree with me. I'm pretty sure, right?
That's true.
So yeah.
All
right. Well, we'll go ahead.
They're just shaking their heads. Yes.
Just going.
Kyle,
Thank
you're
God
right.
for Nick Foles. Yeah. They're like, I hate this Packers fan, but damn if he isn't correct. Yeah. All right. So let's move on here to.
I'm thinking it, and he's saying it.
Yeah, it's like you're in my mind. All right. So let's move on. Let's see if I'm still in your mind. To my first wide receiver sleeper, and that is Paris Campbell. I sniped another guy from you, Justin. Paris Campbell with the Colts. Right now, he is Fantasy Football Calculator wide receiver 64, pick 12 of the 13th round. And he's Fantasy Pros wide receiver 73. So Fantasy Football Calculator actually has him in a better spot than Fantasy Pros. They've got him further down. Dude, this guy's primed for a friggin' big year. I don't know what the deal is. Like, I don't get it. He missed all but 7 games last year, right? But now he's coming out and he's like, hey, I'm 100% healthy.
A lot of fluke injuries for Paris.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But here we go. Okay, so a good combination that's been working really well in the NFL this last few years has been a QB who can throw the ball really far down the field and likes to do so, and really fast guys who can play in the slot. Right?
Hey, I think that works out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe Tyreek Hill, maybe Juju Smith-Schuster, maybe another guy I'm going to talk about next. This guy can play in the slot. So
This
he's
guy.
not competing. This guy, he's not competing with T.Y. Hilton for the routes, the opportunities. He's on the field. He's going to be on the field at the same time, right? And then you add a guy who can throw a deep pass really, really nice, and that is Phillip Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
And you combine those two things. Yeah, Phillip Rivers checks down every third pass play, right? But maybe every third pass play as well, he's throwing to the slot or the tight end.
Yeah.
I'd take 50% of the third right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sixth of the total passes that are going out of his hand.
Yeah.
That would be great. So look, as Michael Jordan said with Phillip Rivers, the ceiling is the roof. I don't know what that means. I think he meant that the floor is the ceiling. No, well, you stole from Michael Jordan.
True.
Let's be honest, right? I'm going to give you a crazy comparable as to what I think Paris.
I'm going to hold on.
You do. Everybody clench. If you're in the bathroom,
not too hard.
If you're in the bathroom, don't over clench, right? Watching us while you're using the restroom. But they got really bad, right? I went to a dark place. So this comparable is probably not 100% accurate as far as like everything goes, but he could put a year together just like we have seen out of Juju Smith-Schuster. I think it's entirely possible that Phillip Rivers
skipped a beat.
Yeah, because Phillip Rivers throws a great deep pass, and Ben Roethlisberger does too. A solid running game in Pittsburgh, a solid running game in Indianapolis with a great offensive line.
Yep.
A really good opportunity as far as schedule goes. And you got a slot receiver who likes to play down the field and who's fast. Here's the difference between Juju and Paris Campbell. Juju's 1 inch taller and 10 pounds heavier, but Paris Campbell's a lot faster.
That's whenever
blows
I
your mind,
think
right?
of Juju and Paris Campbell, you think of a huge like height difference in
6'1" and 6 foot.
Wow.
215 pounds and 205 pounds. So Paris Campbell's not some tiny dude. He's 6 foot 205. Yeah.
I don't know. You think of those slot guys. I mean, Juju is one of those odd ones too. And then you just think of slot guys as a 5'10", 5'9" type guy that
stocky guy who's going to be a possession receiver over the middle of the field. Instead, these are seam runners. These are guys who are running down the seam. They're running tight end style routes, and they're getting linked up with an outside linebacker as a result. It's like,
I remember just watching the video. Like the Colts actually have a really cool draft series that they released this last couple of years, and just seeing Frank Reich, the coach there, react whenever Paris Campbell fell to them in the very end of the second rounds the previous year. Like he was just going nuts, and just being able to have Paris Campbell back healthy and what Frank Reich can do with that offense with him in there as a slot, they're going to get him the ball in a variety of different ways. He's going to have some rushing attempts. He's going to have some jet sweeps. He's going to get some screen passes. He's going to get a lot of work out of that slot. You mentioned it. T.Y. Hilton on the outside.
They're going to be there's too many weapons. They're going to be focused on T.Y., Marlon
Michael
Mack,
Pittman Jr.
Michael Pittman Jr. They're going to be focused on Jonathan Taylor. All these options, right? And then on a friggin' end around or a jet sweep or some random like wide receiver screen, they're going to hit this guy in the slot and he's going to take off because he's very, very fast.
You can only double team so many offensive weapons. There's only so
Phillip
many
Rivers
guys you can have.
Well, and Rivers, he'll recognize those opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
He'll catch. He'll see it. He'll go, oh wait, the linebacker's lined up over the slot here.
Yeah,
that's who's covering the slot right now, and it's just going to burn them. Look, the running game is going to be the focus of the Colts this year. I think that we can all probably conclude that it just makes too much sense that it will be. They've got 2 stellar running backs. We're anticipating a lot out of Jonathan Taylor this year. He almost made our I think breakout candidates.
Yeah.
For me, at least, he almost did.
Yeah.
Look, it's not going to be a focus, the passing game, but it does not mean that you can't focus on it. Okay. Right. Rivers is going to realize that he likes the solid wide receivers that he can hit down the field. And that's going to be T.Y. and that's going to be Paris Campbell.
Yep.
And probably Michael Pittman Jr. But, Paris Campbell can do it. and he's in the slot, and he's not competing for the targets on the wide receiver front on the outside of the offense, the scheme.
Yeah, I'm
Whereas,
trying to think of any other slot receivers really on the roster, and there's not really anything like Zach Pascal is there. He's played the outside. He's played all over the place. Marcus Johnson, he may not make the team sadly, but there's not a whole lot of, Nyheim Hines is going to play out of the slot as well,
a little bit,
and there.
Yeah,
but
but that'll be motion into the slot. It'll be motion into the slot.
Talent is insane when it comes to Paris Campbell.
Yeah. So here's where I'm finishing on Paris Campbell for the season. Okay. And that is that you get to spend a nearly 14th round pick for a guy who's, I think, going to be a wide receiver too.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, he's
going to be up there. It's a pretty bold prediction.
Bold.
It's bold. It is. But you've got a team that's going to chuck the ball down the field when they decide to throw it.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
Bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it works out. All right. What have you got for me here on the second wide receiver sleeper?
So my second wide receiver sleeper is Nikhil Harry of the New England Patriots. Fantasy football calculator.
Never heard
ADP,
of them.
Wide receiver 52. Fifth pick in the 11th round, Kyle. So the reason why he's probably going fifth pick in the 11th round is because last year was pretty disappointing for his rookie year. As a hamstring injury in August landed him on the IR. He was designated to return, which he did in mid-November, and you could just tell he was really behind when it came to that chemistry with #Twami and just the playbook itself. And here's the thing. You come back in like mid-November, the Patriots are trying to go into the playoffs. Is Tom really going to trust somebody that hasn't been on the field?
He also doesn't throw to rookies.
And that's one of those things where, yes, they draft him in the first round because of his talent. Doesn't mean that Tom has to throw to him. And that runs true, like you just said. That chemistry just was not there. And that lack of trust was, that was very pertinent. It was the lack of trust from TB12. But here's one quick thing is, another one of the small sample sizes, but it's pretty good to know at the end of the season when he was probably fully healthy. He led the team in targets the last two games, and that includes that playoff game against the Titans. So that's pretty good to know. Like going in towards the very end, he probably was finally healthy from that hamstring injury, and he's able to lead the team in targets the last two games. Yeah. I mentioned athleticism. PlayerProfiler.com has his speed score in the 90th percentile. Now, the way they do their speed score is they assign a premium to their 40 times for guys that are tall, heavy wide receivers. So any number over 110 for their rankings, which is very extraordinary for wide receivers, he finished at 109.8. So he was right on the cusp of, according to them, being extraordinary for their speed score. That says something when it comes to a guy that's 6'2", 230 some odd pounds that can run like he does. So QB play is another one. We mentioned #Twami. He's not there anymore. Well, as of Sunday, Cam Newton, come on down.
Yeah.
He signed a 1-year deal.
I don't know if that's better.
You know what?
I don't know what that means in the end.
I think it means a little bit better than what Jared Stidham. You had a very good. You had a very good tweet. What was it?
So confused. I said immediately after the news came out about Cam Newton, I texted or I tweeted out Jarrett Stidham right now talking to Bill Belichick, and it was the Dumb and Dumber scene where Jim Carrey's character turns to I think it's Lauren Holly, and he goes, "What was all that 1 in a million talk?" Yeah.
It's so good. It is so good.
Nobody thought that Jarrett Stidham was going to be the end-all, be-all for this team. Everybody on the East Coast probably was like, "Oh yeah, he's going to be great." That's what Belichick said.
Do me a favor. Go ahead and go to Twitter. Look up at Kyle_the upside. You're going to find a lot of witty tweets from this guy and a lot of witty gifs from him.
Yeah.
But back to Cam. I mean, like if anybody's going to turn Cam around, it's going to be Bill Belichick, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, truthfully.
Well, he's going to be. Maybe he's healthy for once in the last 4 years, right? I mean, Cam Newton's been unhealthy for a very long time.
Yeah.
So
there's a video
of
his
ankles, right? Like it's not his arms, it's not
ankles,
his shoulders.
Feet. Well, he's had shoulders as well here or there, but he's fully recovered, I think, from the shoulder injury. It was all just feet here recently. So Yeah, they're going to want him to stay in the pocket anyways. But even if it's not Cam Newton to begin with, if it's Jared Stidham, he came in with Nikhil. They were both rookies last year. And I'm sure whenever Nikhil was coming back, they were practicing together. I'm sure, so that chemistry could have been built up during that time that he was recovering. That's a thing.
That's what Aaron Rodgers and Jordy Nelson did. That's how the two of them got so connected. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real thing. You might be wondering, what about the competition there at the Patriots? Julian Edelman is still there. He's 34 years old and just led the league in drops.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how much longer he has in him before he decides to head down to Tampa Bay and
retire and then go to Tampa Bay.
Well, maybe he goes down for a 1-year little wonder deal with Tampa Bay, but we'll see if they even want him. Mohamed Sanu is there. They traded for him for a second-round pick in the middle of last year. That didn't work out too well. The second game worked out. He saw 14 targets and 10 catches for 81 yards and a score. And then he failed to top 3 receptions or 35 yards in any of the remaining 7 games. And that includes the postseason. So
it kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
It leaves a little bit of a bad taste. There was another interesting ad. Marquis Lee of the Jacksonville Jags.
Yeah.
Alum. That's an interesting ad. He's been hurt for the last couple of years. He won the Blitnikoff Award for best wide receiver in college before he came out. So
did you intentionally say Jags instead of Jaguars or Jaguars?
I absolutely freaking did. Because as soon as I was getting ready to do that, you called me out because I'm from Indiana, from a small county called Greene County, and I don't know how to say Jaguars, and I still freaking said it. Jaguars.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Back to the Patriots. At their tight ends, they have let me know if you know these guys. Dalton King, Devin Asiasi. Probably said that wrong. Matt Lacoste.
It doesn't matter if you said it wrong.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Never heard of them.
Exactly.
And this time I'm serious.
And because of all those things, I think Nikhil Harry is going to pass up Edelman as the main wide receiver on this offense. He's got the draft pedigree.
I think they want
the
him
athleticism, and they really want him to. Bill doesn't draft, wide receivers in the first round. I think this was his first one ever. So
I don't know. Yeah.
If Cam Newton's throwing up a jump ball, Nikhil Harry's probably coming down. He's well worth an 11th round flyer.
Yeah.
Very much. And I think the news with Cam Newton is good. I do.
Yeah. I think it's good for that offense in general. Yeah. Now if somebody could just figure out who the running back is, right?
Damian Harris.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he's going into his third year.
Yeah, he was a rookie last year, second year.
Yeah.
Come on down. Sonny Michel's always banged up.
Yeah.
James White only catches the ball, never runs.
Yeah.
You're a big proponent of Fred Burkhead not making the final roster.
He won't. Mark it down. Mark it down.
Damian Harris might show up in an episode that we may have coming up eventually.
Yeah. Write that down. He's not going to make the team. Rex Burkhead's not. There's no way they're going to carry all 4 of those guys. And Burkhead is way, way higher paid than he should be. So, yeah. All right. Let's move on here. Yeah. The last wide receiver sleeper that we have, this is a guy we've talked about before, or at least I've talked about before. And we're back in the slot. We're going over to Pittsburgh this time. And we're talking about Deontay Johnson yet again.
Does he play in the slot? I mean, he plays a little bit in the slot, but I think
he does.
Outside too.
He plays outside, but he's primarily a slot receiver.
Oh, okay.
He plays on the outside though too.
Yeah.
But look, this guy is right now on Fantasy Football Calculator. He is wide receiver 49, going 9th pick of the 10th round. And he's going to blow up. Like, we talked about him before. You can go back and look at him. He's a breakout player episode. And you're going to get a major steal with this dude because it is entirely possible that he finishes as the wide receiver 1 on that team. And he might finish as a wide receiver 1 for you as well. Look, they drafted Chase Claypool. There's a lot of people who are high on Chase Claypool, and they're going to use that to keep the value of Deontay Johnson depressed a little bit. But
right.
Just go watch tape on Deontay Johnson, please. the numbers that this guy managed last year are ridiculous when you consider who was throwing the ball to him and the fact that they were
What do you
throwing
mean?
the ball.
Who was throwing the ball to him?
I don't know, Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph.
Quack,
You know,
quack,
those
quack, quack, quack.
future Hall of Famers, famous for something, right?
Aw.
Right. One of them is
Yeah.
famous for something, using
Ouch.
getting a helmet used against him as a weapon.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about a guy that does a duck call. You went
No.
the other way. Oh, yeah, my bad.
No, I went for the more famous reason to be known. Yeah, you were beaten with your own helmet. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, it's bad to be on either side of that. It really is. But anyway, look, Chase Claypool is going to depress the value as far as like what you're hearing out of a lot of fantasy football experts, right? They're going to tell you, oh, Chase Claypool is going to step right into this offense. He's going to be phenomenal. And it's like, well, look what they have. They have Juju. They have Deontay Johnson. They have James Washington. They have a lot of value already at wide receiver. Chase Claypool is going to come in and compete. Absolutely. But he's not competing directly with Deontay Johnson here. He's just not doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's great. That's great for us. It means he falls down the draft board, right? And you know, I said it last time. He had 2 less than pro starter quarterbacks last year throwing him the ball. But the numbers that prove that this guy is set and ready to go for you, right? Is that last year he would catch the ball an average of 4.2 yards deep. And then he'd add another 3.2 yards after the catch. So he's catching the ball in the zone that there's a lot of traffic. And then he's making that first guy miss.
Right.
And he's moving. So like, look, 4.2 yards where he's catching it, that's wide receiver 53, point of catch.
Yeah.
Where they actually get him down to the ground, he was wide receiver 24. So, but yeah, let's ignore that guy. Yeah, he's going to lose out to the rookie, right? The guy who was wide receiver 24 is going to lose out to the rookie. The guy who turned into their entire offense toward the end of the
Juju
season.
was banged up last year. I mean, it was the Deontay Johnson show.
I mean,
the only show that could be whenever, like you said, I mean, we're just beating up on Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges. I mean, that's all Mason Rudolph needs is another guy to beat him up.
Yeah. But look, I mean, this guy's not going to lose his job to a rookie who lines up outside, right? It's just not going to happen. You got a chance to get a guy who's the future of this team for really low price. So all of you Dino guys, like you've probably already got him on your team, or you know somebody who does, and you want to try to get him off of that team. I know the Dynasty and Devy guys are all about this player. I know that.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, they've pretty much come out and said they're not re-signing Juju.
Yeah.
To a second contract.
Yeah. But all the redraft players, those guys who are listening to the experts, again, I'm throwing the quotes around it because they don't believe in Deontay Johnson. For some reason, there's a lot of chatter that doesn't believe in him. And I think it's primarily due to Chase Claypool and a healthy Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah.
So I tend to believe that this is an offense that's like Detroit. They want to throw the ball 5,000 yards for the year, and they've got a QB capable of doing it. And I don't think all of it's going to go to Juju. I don't think even half of it's going to go to Juju, guys.
Right.
Like, let's think about it. Ben Roethlisberger can sustain a few 1,000-yard receivers. So, yeah, he's poised to explode, guys. Pick him up. With Roethlisberger back, you can rely upon him for wide receiver 2 stats week in and week out, and you're paying 10th round, back of the 10th round.
What was his wide receiver rank?
49.
I got 49. 40. So I've been listening to you.
Yeah.
I've been listening,
but think about that. That's a wide receiver 4.
Yeah,
that's
even that.
Like, you have him as a wide receiver 4. Fantasy Football Calculator has him as a wide receiver 5. And this is a dude who's going to have wide receiver 2 weeks for you repeatedly. And guys who turn in wide receiver 2 weeks constantly and consistently, they edge up towards wide receiver 1 for the season for you. They actually do. Because if they're that consistent and solid, they're going to get you there.
Looks like
All
I got
right.
him at 3rd pick of the 8th round. So even that is still going to return you a good amount of value.
Yeah.
My
I mean,
personal rank is.
the reason that you're hunting down sleepers is because you can draft them where they're getting drafted in the ADP. Right. But
Yep.
you know that you're getting something better than that ADP. So it's like you're getting an extra pick in the round that you should have taken them in.
Yeah.
So that's why you're hunting down those sleepers. And so don't reach for these guys. That's not the purpose of finding sleepers, right?
Yeah.
Probably should have said that at the top of the episode. You know? All right,
the reason
guys.
why you want to keep them as a sleeper, if they're going at a certain value, you want to be able to take them at that value.
Yeah, you're looking for the guys that nobody's really talking about, but you
Right.
have really great feeling that they're going to blow up. All right, guys, that's it for us on the wide receiver sleepers for now.
Yep.
We're going to update this as things go. Once camps hit, things start ramping up, getting a little bit louder. You lose those guys who might be sleepers. They're found out by everybody. That's
right.
Depth charts become a little clearer. It becomes more difficult to find those guys who are sleepers still. All right, so you're watching us on YouTube. We're the Fantasy Football Upside. We've got a Twitter handle. It's at FFP_upside. Justin's is JW or at JW_the upside. Mine is Kyle, at Kyle _the upside. You can watch us or you can catch us over on Facebook. You can write us questions over there and other stuff like that. We're at FFB upside, no underscore, or you can just search for the Fantasy Football Upside. You can reach us through Gmail right now. We can still answer questions. We've got a little bit of time for that. It's the Fantasy Football Upside at gmail.com. We're also on podcast platforms. So hopefully some of you are downloading us on various platforms and giving us 5 stars. You can catch us on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, iHeartRadio, and we also have Google Podcasts now as well. And if there's a platform that you prefer that we're not on, let us know. We'll try to get something over there for you, so that it makes it easier for you. Maybe you want to listen to us, in double speed or something with the chipmunk voice. I don't know. Anyway,
might be better.
Make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review over there. Also, don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube. Click that bell so that you're notified when we upload the best fantasy football podcast on the internet. And thanks again for being an Upside fan. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.